सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्. I welcome you all with my love and respect. I welcome all the devotees, disciples who are sitting all over the world at this moment with us. At this moment, in 612 places, 173 cities and 23 countries. I am able to see these 6 cities: Los Angeles, San Jose, Hyderabad, Dallas, Ohio, Seattle, in two-way connection with us. I welcome all of you with my love and respect. Today's subject for the satsang: Dharana, Dhyana, Samadhi. Ultimate keys to the absolute. Today's sutra is 113th sutra in Patanjali Yoga Sutra, and in the 3rd chapter, 7th verse. Trayam antarangam purviyebhyah. Swami Vivekananda translates the sutra as: these 3 disciplines are more internal than those that precede. Swami Prabhupada translates: these 3 are more direct aids to experience than the 5 limbs previously described. Swami Sachidananda translates as: these 3 are more internal than the preceding 5 limbs. I'll try to give my own understanding and the sacred secret embedded in the sutra. I will interpret the sutra or express the sutra as: Dharana, Dhyana, Samadhi are more internal than each other. Please understand. There are 8 steps described: Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayama, Pratyahara, Dharana, Dhyana, Samadhi. Many other translations say these 3 are more internal than the other 5, first 5. I will say these 3 are not only more internal, deeper than this 5, they are internal and deeper even the one next to each other. This Dharana, Dhyana, Samadhi is not only more deeper than the Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayama, Pratyahara. They are deeper. Dhyana is deeper than Dharana. Samadhi is deeper than Dhyana. difference between these two interpretations, major interpretations? What's the major difference? Please understand. The difference between the first 5 steps and the last 3 steps is not only quantitative, very qualitative. It's a qualitative difference. If you think the difference is only quantitative, you can always be cheated. You can miss your sadhana. Please understand. Some of the orthodox translations and interpretations say 8 pranayama is 1 pratyahara, 8 pratyahara is 1 dharana, 8 dharana is 1 dhyana, 8 dhyana is 1 samadhi. I want you to know, if you think this way, you think all these steps are only quantitatively different. We tend to misunderstand. No, it is qualitatively different. How many hundreds of pratyaharas put together will not make 1 dharana. When you practice pratyahara, something will click with you that can lead to dharana. If you are doing dharana 100 hours, does not mean it enter in dhyana. But most probably, usually, in that 100 hours, something clicks higher than dharana, that leads to dhyana. So it is not just quantitative, it is qualitative. Sometimes misunderstanding of the words, as mismatching of the words, or mismanaging the words can lead to deeper troubles. Please understand. So if you just understand, dharana, jnana, samadhi are more deeper than the first 5, it gives you a kind of understanding, but not complete. Even among these 3, they are deeper than each other. Dhyana is deeper than dharana, samadhi is deeper than dhyana. You need to understand the very qualitative difference. Only then you will do your sadhanas in right direction. It is not just your time is demanded. Please understand. Till the pranayama and pratyahara, your time is enough. Any guy who spends time on it will have a result. Assure, guarantee. That is why the yoga and pranayama has become so popular all over the world. Then, dharana, dhyana, samadhi. In this dharana, dhyana, samadhi, not just your time, your attention, awareness is required. Just an ordinary worker mentality is enough for you to achieve asana, pranayama and pratyahara. You don't need intelligence. You don't need intention. It's like a bodybuilding. Stretch your body this time, this many number of hands, with this much of weight, you will get built. It will be built. You don't need awareness. You don't need to play the game of consciousness. Your conscious path does not require to be participated Just stretch your body this way, that way. It is there. And same way pranayama. Do this breathing this way, that way. Close the nostril, open the nostril. It is there. But for pratyahara to become dharana, a new entity in you needs to be awakened, which we call pratyagatma chaitanya. Individual consciousness, an individual interest, individual need to be awakened. Very important, very important, very important. Please understand. Pratyahara, dharana, dhyana, samadhi. Till pratyahara, yama, niyama, asana, pranayama, pratyahara. Till pratyahara, your individual consciousness need not even participate in this. You can just be in the consciousness of a worker mood. Even if you are cursing the guru who taught you, or guru is forcing you to do this yoga and pranayama and do, you will have a result of yoga and pranayama. Even if you are not interested, you are forced to do. That is why the yoga and pranayama has become so widely popular all over the world. Because it does not need your conscious participation. You don't need to enter into the leader consciousness. You don't need to enter into the responsible consciousness. You don't need to fix yourself to the time and place you are and take up the life as your responsibility. It doesn't need to be. Just kind of another life is more than enough. You can go on telling lies. Please understand. Satya, honesty, makes you responsible to the seat you are in. It makes you responsible for the place you are in. Satya means feeling responsible for the position you are in. Being honest to the space you are in. If you are wife of somebody, be straight in the truth. If you are husband of somebody, be honest in the truth. If you are son of somebody, be strong in that position. If you are a disciple of some guru, be honest and straight to somebody. I know you have a doubt. Should I be honest to my wife position, or husband position, or guru disciple position? I tell you, be honest to your guru disciple position. Your guru and disciple position is much more important and straight, especially after this age, than the wife and husband position. Understand? Being honest, straight to the position you are holding is Satya. Satya makes you responsible. This responsibility is required for you to move from pratyahara to dharana. Till pratyahara, you don't need responsibility. feeling responsible for the space you are in makes the quantitative shift in you for you to move from dharana, dhyana, samadhi, for you to move from pratyahara to dharana. Of course, after that it naturally moves from dharana to dhyana, dhyana to samadhi. I will give you the two major components in the spiritual practice, evolution. One, intense practice. Second, feeling responsible for your space. The space you have chosen. I can say now, I can divide the whole spiritual practices as these two categories. First, a person should be taught to do the strong exercises, the tapas, like 1,000 experience, 2 hours of intensely working out, intense pranayama. This will teach you the quantitative work, means will make you, give you the training of hard tapas, spiritual practices. Next thing should happen is becoming responsible for the space you are occupying, for the commitment you made, satya. That makes you to experience the qualitative shift in your sadhana. From pratyahara you move to dharana only if you become responsible. I have seen people who are stuck in pratyahara for 40 years. I have seen sadhus, seekers, who blow their nose for 40 years, who bend their body for 50 years, but they are stuck just with pratyahara. Unfortunately, they never learn how to be responsible for the position they are in, to move from pratyahara to dharana, dharana to dhyana, dhyana to samadhi. If you take a responsibility of the position you are holding and allow the creativity to express in that responsibility, then naturally, very smoothly you will sail from dharana to dhyana, dhyana to samadhi. The sacred secret embedded in the sutra is not only the dharana, dhyana, samadhi is deeper than the yama, niyama, asana, pranayama, pratyahara. They are not just quantitatively deeper, they are qualitatively deeper. And in dharana, dhyana, samadhi, each of them are qualitatively deeper than the other. I have seen in my own experience, just the other day, I was telling one brahmachari that till you feel responsible, you will never be able to rise out of depression or live your life as you want or have fulfillment in your life. Unfortunately, he was trying his best to justify his responsibility. But when you just think deeper his life, in 2 or 3 questions, just his irresponsibility comes out. If you are feeling stuck in your spiritual practice. Oh, you are doing 108 Surya Namaskar, you are doing Yankriya, you are doing this meditation, that technique, that practice, this practice, but you are feeling you are stuck, you are not able to move. Catch. You are stuck in Pratyahara. You are stuck in Pratyahara because you are only worker mentality. You are not become responsible to your position. Just add responsibility. The same 108 Surya Namaskar, same Yankriya will push you from Pratyahara to Dharana, Dharana to Dhyana, Dhyana to Samadhi. Maybe carcass of your mind, you are playing double game. You are not honest to the commitment you have taken up. I tell the counselors, if you have taken on the department, honestly commit to that and intensely take the responsibility. You will move from Pratyahara to Dharana, Dharana to Dhyana, Dhyana to Samadhi. Otherwise, you will be stuck, not only stuck, and you will completely in depression. Some of these people, they claim that I don't have anything to offer, I don't have anything what to do, I am not that creative. Then suffer in depression. You are doomed to die in depression. Life is for people who are conscious. Life is for people who are interested in creating. Life is for people who are honest and sincere to the place they hold, to the responsibility which they represent. If I am sitting in this throne, I have to do all the actions and creations needed for this place. I cannot just sit in this and avoiding the responsibilities. No. Being responsible, if you are responsible, you will not have negativity to be in depression. Pratyahara becomes dharana when you are responsible. Dishonesty leads only to more and more depression. It can be useful at some times. Few places. I have a story. Dad asked his son, "Did you use my car last night, my son?" Son said, "Yes, Dad, I took some of my boys. Some of the boys for a ride." Dad says, "Well, tell them I found 2 of their lipsticks." Your dishonesty can be useful to cheat your dad, but it cannot change the girls to boys. And it cannot change the boys to girls. It can be used to divert the attention of your dad, but it cannot make boys to girls or girls to boys. I tell you, when you take responsibility, you have a tremendous energy and courage to see the truth. Some extraordinary security happens around you. I can tell you from my experience. When I took the courage, I stood up. Suddenly I felt, oh God, there's an extraordinary security happening around me. Till you take the responsibility, you will suffer in insecurity. It is an automatic mechanism given by God to remind you that you are not yet become responsible. If you are suffering with insecurity, understand, still you have not taken up the responsibility of the position you are holding, commitment you are holding, identity you are showing to the world. One sailor and his wife are traveling in a ship. Suddenly, due to cyclone, the ship has started shaking. Wife was completely shaken, started crying, shouting. The sailor was towards the God. Wife was shouting, "What are you doing? Are you not feeling insecure? You should do something. What to do? How can we escape?" The sailor just took a knife, put it near the throat of the wife and said, "Are you afraid now? I'm going to kill you?" She said, "No. As long as the knife is in the hands of my beloved, you, why will I be afraid?" He says, "Yes, say it again. As long as the life is in the hands of God, why will I be afraid?" The life is in the hands of the beloved. You don't need to be afraid, be insecure of getting killed. As long as the life is in the hands of God, divine, you don't need to be afraid of getting destroyed. Understand? When I tell this, if it does not click with you, still you have not taken the responsibility of your life. Somehow when I read this line, it just clicked in me. Because my inner space was ready to feel secure. If the land is ready, plowed, then the seed can grow. If the land is not plowed, ready, rocky, no seed can grow in it. Same way, if you have taken the responsibility for the position you are there, like you are interested, suddenly the inner space becomes ready to feel secure. Making your inner space ready to feel secure is the basic requirement for feeling security. To feel secure, your age insurances, your home insurance, flood insurance, fire insurance, medical insurance, accident insurance, and malpractice insurance, and any number of insurances you have, you will not feel secure in life. You cannot have life insurance, you can have death insurance, you cannot have love insurance, you can have divorce insurance. Understand? The insurances cannot ensure security. Feeling security is a quality which happens in you when you take responsibility. Yes, taking responsibility is a work, is a thing to be done, a quality to be cultivated. But when you shrink, when you escape, when you move away from it, life is not for you. Consciousness is not for you. You are not qualified even to breathe. Taking air from the prana is stealing. You take responsibility. Naturally, your inner space is ready for security. This one story which I said will suddenly click. Yes. When life is in the hands of God, why should I feel insecure? How can I be insecure? But your logic says, no, who knows whether it's in the hands of God or not? Who knows? My husband is my beloved or not? Who knows? By mistake he may cut my throat. Who knows? After cutting my throat, he may justify that cutting the throat is good for you. If you are struggling with all these great philosophies, be very clear, you are not taking the responsibility. Your inner space is not plowed, it is rocky, die. You will be in depression. Nobody can save you. Nothing can be done. If you take the responsibility and stand up as a leader, asana can lead to pratyahara. Just by the practice, asana can lead to pranayama just by the practice. Pranayama more quality to be added, that is Pratyagatma Chaitanya Jagrata. The individual inner conscious awakening, inner awakening has to happen for Pratyahara to become Dharana. That is why one sutra is meant to show the difference between these two. I am here to say the difference between these two is not just quantitative, it is qualitative. And even after entering into the dharana, the difference between dharana and dhyana, dhyana and samadhi is not just quantitative, it is qualitative. It's very qualitative. I'll explain clearly the difference between dharana, dhyana, samadhi. There's a beautiful story, Zen story I have. I'll explain. 4 months are meditating in a monastery. All of a sudden, the prayer flag on the roof started flapping. The younger monk came out of his meditation and said, "Flag is flapping." A more experienced monk said, "Wind is flapping." The third monk, who had been there for more than 20 years and meditating, he said, "Mind is flapping." Fourth monk, an enlightened monk, says, "Mouths are flapping." Understand? First, younger monk came out of his meditation and said, "Flag is flapping." He's trying to do pratyahara, trying to concentrate, because he is disturbed by the flag, irritated. Always these guys who are trying to do pratyahara, they will come in constant irritation. They will be in constant irritation. You can see the housewives who are sitting in their house and trying to chant Vishnu Sahasranama. Vishnu Vishnu Vashatkara Buddha Bhakti Bhakti Buddha Buddha Bhakti with the cell phone things. These idiots, no business. I would constantly be running behind this cell phone and the telephone. In Vishnu Sahasranama, how did these idiots come? Vishnu will have no Sahasranama. The very meaning of the Vishnu Sahasranama she is chanting is Vishwam Vishnu Vashatkaro Bhuta Bhakti Bhagat Prabhu, which is all pervading, all knowing, all controlling. At least she should know, even her cell phone ringing is controlled by the God towards whom she is chanting. But she forgets. These idiots, no brain, no sense. Is this the time for them to call and throw the book, go on attend the cell phone or telephone and drop it and come back? The mood of Vishnu Sahasranama and the telephone answer both are one the same. Understand? Pratyahara always leads to irritation. The second, an experienced monk, he comes out and says, "Wind is flapping," means he is in the state of dharana. He is in the stage of dharana. Wind is flapping. Understand? He has gone little more subtle. Flag is not flapping, wind is flapping. He has moved from Karya to Karana. Karya means that happen, Karana means cause. He goes from Karya to Karana. He is in the state of Karana. So he understands the Karana. Wind is flopping, not flag. Flag is there as it is. The flopping is happening because of wind, not because of flag. Without wind, the flag will be there. So the flapping happens because of wind, not because of flag. Third one, he comes out and says, he has gone to the Adi Karana, not ordinary Karana, which is seen by the senses. He has gone to the Adi Karana. Why do you experience the wind is flopping? Because your mind is ready to perceive the wind is flopping. The same moment when the wind was blowing and the flag was flopping, thousand other things should have been happening around them. But the mind has recorded only the wind flopping and got disturbed only by the wind flopping. Why we did not get disturbed by so many other things? Because we did not attend or record, we did not want it. If the wind is flopping the flag and you are disturbed, your mind wants to record it and get disturbed by it. The third monk has gone to Adi Karana. He has gone to the state of Dhyana. The fourth monk, an enlightened, who is in Samadhi, he just makes fun of this whole thing. Mouths are flapping. Neither the wind nor the flag or the mind is flapping. Just the mouths are flapping. He is making fun of the whole scene. He is very clear. Neither the Karya is happening, neither the flag is flapping, nor the wind is flapping. Even the Karna is also not responsible. Or the mind is flapping, even the Adi Karna is not responsible. He said nothing is happening, only your mouths are flapping. He is making fun of the whole thing. He has gone beyond Karya, Karana, Adi Karana. He is in Samadhi. Understand? Now I will explain. Dharana, Dhyana, Samadhi. This is the best story I found to explain the Dharana, Dhyana, Samadhi. Dharana means the object on which you are concentrating or putting your awareness. The stuff out of which you are made and the object, the stuff out of which the object is made. These two feels connected. That is Dharana. There is an example in Vedanta that Taila, if you pour the oil from one cup to another cup, how in an unbroken way the oil flows, same way the mind flows. That is called Dharana. The stuff out of which your mind is made and the stuff out of which the object is made, both of them lose their boundary and merge or come closer. It is called Dhyana. The stuff out of which your mind is made and the stuff out of which the object is made, both of them lose their identity completely into something else from which both of them came out is Samadhi. So the difference between Dharana, Dhyana, Samadhi, a clear technical understanding is required before you proceed and experience those states. Find out in your life whether flag is flopping or wind is flopping or mind is flopping or mouths are flopping. You will understand in which stage you are in. I bless you all. At this moment, 715 places, 196 cities, 24 countries are sitting with us. I bless all of you to achieve, experience, live, express, radiate and share eternal bliss. Nityananda.